Catecholamines are any molecule found in the body that have this group. It's that benzene ring with two hydroxyl groups attached to it. Now, there are three naturally occurring catecholamines that you need to know about in the human body. They are adrenaline, noradrenaline, and dopamine. A really classic question is, where are they produced? There are two main locations. These are the chromaffin cells of the adrenal medulla and postganglionic fibers of the sympathetic nervous system. Now, if you can draw all of the different steps of the synthesis pathway, you're going to do really, really well. You probably don't need to know it in that much detail, but it's a good idea to know at least what order they come in and what the rate limiting steps are for the reaction. So we're going to start with phenylalanine. As you can see, it's got the benzene group, carboxyl group, amine group. And what we're going to do to start with is we're just going to stick a hydroxyl group on the other end of the ring. And to do that, we need phenylalanine hydroxylase. This gives us tyrosine. Then we're going to stick another hydroxyl group. So we need tyrosine hydroxylase, and that puts another one just here. This is the rate limiting step for this whole pathway. So knowing that tyrosine hydroxylase is the rate limiting enzyme for the catecholamine synthesis pathway, that sometimes comes up as an MCQ question. And by sticking another hydroxyl group onto tyrosine, we end up with DOPA, or dihydroxyphenylalanine. Then we're going to take the carboxyl group, so we need the unimaginatively titled DOPA decarboxylase enzyme, which comes and splices off that carboxyl group for us. This gives us dopamine. Now, if we are in a dopaminergic cell in the central nervous system, we stop here. However, if we are in a noradrenic nerve or in the adrenal medulla, we keep going. So to get from dopamine to noradrenaline, we're going to stick another hydroxyl group on, this time on the chain on that first carbon there. So for this, we need dopamine beta hydroxylase, because we're sticking another hydroxyl group onto dopamine. This gives us noradrenaline, and if we're in a noradrenergic nerve, we stop here. If we're in the adrenal medulla, we go one step further. We're going to go from noradrenaline to adrenaline, and to do this, we need to take a methyl group, a CH3, and stick it onto the N of the amine group of noradrenaline. And noradrenaline can also be called phenylethylamine because it's got a phenyl group, an ethanol structure, and an amine on the end. And we're putting a methyl group on the N of it. That's why the enzyme is called phenylethylamine N-methyl transferase. And this gives us adrenaline. These catecholamines are synthesized and then packaged into vesicles for a couple of reasons. One, to protect them from being broken down, and two, so you know how much you're going to release in one go, because these vesicles are dumped into the synaptic cleft, and you know roughly how much adrenaline or noradrenaline or dopamine you have in each vesicle. These drugs have famously short half-lives. They will only work for a minute or two, and that's largely because their reuptake is very, very quick, and that's why they have such short half-lives. And then they either undergo deamination by monoamine oxidase, or they undergo methylation by catechol-O-methyl transferase. And that is pretty much all you need to know. If you can draw those steps, you are doing very well indeed. If you at least know you start at phenylalanine, tyrosine is the limiting step, and then it goes dopamine, noradrenaline, adrenaline. Dopamine is the final point for your dopaminergic neurons, noradrenaline for your noradrenergic neurons, and then that final step to adrenaline only occurs in the adrenal medulla.